The future of cheap fee estate agency. Today, I'm joined by the awesome Rich Hayes, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Zoopla. Rich, 1% estate agency fees is the average across the UK. Where's the future from that? Talk to me.
I think the first positive thing to say is we've probably got to the bottom. I think the erosion's probably stopped now. I know there are a couple of 0.8s and the like knocking around, but I think that erosion stopped. And I think certainly when we speak to agents up and down the country, a lot of our customer base are really asking themselves, like, how do we get stronger control of our fees, and maybe how do we rise fees but justify that fee rise? And they're really prioritizing value. They're prioritizing the service that they offer, the data that they provide to the consumer, and the overall experience. And that might mean they win less instructions, which sounds scary, right? I think that's it's a pretty scary thing for any estate agent to think about.
It certainly is, because I'm of the opinion that estate agents actually care more about getting the listing than their owner cares about selling the house sometimes.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but it feels important, a really important KPI to them, to like, how do we get that instruction? How do we win that listing? And there's a cost to every listing. There's a cost to selling every property. And margin has been squeezed and squeezed and squeezed over the last 3 years. Everything's more expensive, whether it's the marketing of the property, whether it's the office, the front of house, the team itself, price rises, cost of living, etc., etc. So look, I think we're at the bottom. The only way's up, which is really, really positive. And certainly at Zoopla, we've been kind of really challenging ourselves on how do we help educate agents on kind of like how do they increase fees, or how do they introduce new fee structures, and what needs to come along with that fee structure, right? So the data required, the better ways of targeting and pricing a property, and winning instructions in different ways. And I think there's loads of opportunity. There's tons of opportunity to run kind of a more profitable business with maybe slightly less instructions, and still, have a really great business and be able to invest more time on kind of those right instructions, getting them all the way through to sale.
Now, I don't want to turn this into a Zoopla advertorial, but you are the boss man of the day-to-day running of Zoopla. So what responsibility do the portals have to help their clients grow their fees?
Well, I think,
or is it your responsibility?
Well, when I arrived at Zoopla, I felt that it was, because I think there's been this, they've only been going in one direction over the last 10 years or so, right? And I came into Zoopla as a business, not having worked in a estate agency or kind of specifically in the property sector before.
Your mortgage background.
That's right. I have a financial services background, in the last few years operating a mortgage brokerage, and so I had some appreciation of the industry, of course, but not necessarily estate agency at its heart.
Do you think that was an advantage or a disadvantage?
Well, I had kind of new observations, I guess, or kind of observations that necessarily weren't certainly being talked about in Zoopla, and one of them was kind of this direction of travel on fees. And at the end of the day, we're a marketing partner, and we're here to help our customers, businesses, be more profitable and to grow. And one fundamental part of that, I felt, was the direction of travel of fees. Now, with and I'm sure we'll get onto it later, but with the world of AI and the way that things are happening, I know that agents are investing in how do they improve their margins, how do they deliver more service. All those things are kind of critical for thinking about fee structures as well. If you want to charge a bit more money, you probably want to certainly be presenting to the consumer that you're giving more back. And so I started thinking internally about how do we at Zoopla help support agents in doing that. Later on this year, we've got some masterclasses coming on fee structures and how you kind of organize fees, and also then thinking about the value that you can give back to the consumer. Even if it's just having some amazing data from Zoopla that allows you to walk into the living room and say, people in your area are highly searching for white kitchens or marble tops or all these different types of things. This is going to be the difference. This is what's going to help get the home sold.
Okay, but if you've got multiple clients, multiple agents in the town, it's not very personable, is it?
Look, I think there's going to be specific agents that are quite happy with their model today, and they've found a way to operate with a decent margin at those fees, and fee will be their USP, right? It'll be the thing that they want to win by. So I guess to your earlier point, and there probably still is room for a cheaper agent that offers a slightly different service.
Yeah, the stats, according to Property Academy, always 16 to 17% in the last 20 years, and that number has never changed. Always want the cheapest regardless.
Yeah.
But I bet you if you asked most estate agents, they would say 80 to 90% want the cheapest.
For sure. Whereas the reality, and so some of the studies that we're doing, the data we're getting back, it's about expertise, it's about insight, it's about confidence, and it's about the time that they spend with the individual. All things that are a challenge when you're really trying to operate with a very tight margin business.
Does it exacerbate you that sort of information, a lot of it is available at the moment on Zoopla Pro and also the normal Zoopla, but agents aren't using it to their advantage?
No, it really doesn't, because that's on us. That's our responsibility, right? It's on us at Zoopla to make that information accessible, easy to access, and also easier to do something with. I think, we've done a good job probably in the last few years of delivering a lot of raw data or raw insight.
Yes.
But estate agents aren't analysts, or certainly not always.
You almost. I was talking to your colleague Richard Donnell. You've almost got to serve it up as oven-ready food.
That's it, and that's really what the team's focused on at the moment. We've got to be able to give you insight that almost feels as personable as to win that individual instruction. So if you're walking into that living room on that street, what's the message? And what extra data, insight, information can help you be more successful, and really back up this idea that you are knowledgeable, you are the agent to go within that area, and that's on Zoopla, and we're really focused on delivering that.
But at the same time, though, surely it's on the responsibility of the agent. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Surely it's the responsibility of the agents to use that data.
Well, it's going to come down to the agent's decision as to kind of, again, what operating model that they want to follow. And for us, from what we can see, those that are kind of shifting to a more value-based operating model rather than a low-fee operating model seem to be growing revenue faster. And I think that's for not just kind of individual single branch agents, but also kind of larger agency models as well.
I believe that there are some masterclasses in the pipeline coming through. What are you offering there for agents to help them improve their fee?
I think, just being able to say, hey, you should be upping your fees is a kind of easy comment to say. Actually bring it into reality is really tough, right? It's not the easiest thing to do. And I think it's scary as well. I think when there's been such a focus on low fees for a long time, I think it's a scary thing to kind of move away from that. Now, obviously, some of the really, really low fee agents we've seen struggle, right? So some of the kind of larger online agents, especially, have found it more difficult to make those kind of really low fees stick and find the right margin. I'm not saying anything inappropriate there. That's in the public domain that those larger models haven't necessarily worked as well as we thought they were going to. And it will come back to, if you look at Trustpilot reviews and those types of things, the value, the service, the personalized feel that consumer, that vendor really wants. So it's on us to kind of give them the confidence to say there's a way to move fees in the right direction.
Because obviously they're paying you an awful lot of money each month for that. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but rea.com, the Australian big portal, they actually set out 5 years ago to become the #1 training firm for real estate agents. So whilst and again, I'm using my words, not yours. I know you couldn't possibly confirm or deny, but whilst they were being Rogered, what's name, well, on seriously high fees, they were training them as well. Are you hoping to get to that sort of place where you be seen as almost a great trainer of estate agents, a developer of estate agents with your masterclasses?
We want to be seen as a great marketing partner. And price is an element of marketing, right? And we want to be a great marketing partner for our agent customers. And we want to be not only a place where they come to list their properties, but they also come to help support grow their businesses. And that's what good marketing partners should be. And that should ladder back to, demonstrable ROI, demonstrable return on investment for our customer base. So yeah, I can see us spending more time, investing more time in helping our customers run more successful businesses.
So back to the original question, cheap fee estate agency, what's the future? You are seeing your responsibility as a major portal to help guide and support your agent clients by doing two main things. The first one is to do some form of bespoke marketing material or something like that that will help them on the sofa. And the second one is a series of masterclasses and some support, training and development to actually train them with the words to use and the actions to actually put that through to get more listings, or not necessarily, but at better fees. Is that what you're saying in a nutshell?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, to support them in setting a plan in place, because it's also the modeling. It's the thinking about, how's that going to impact my cash flow, all these different types of things. So we're looking at the core metrics that we believe our customers are looking at in their own business.
Because the word that you've used a number of times, and especially when before we switch the cameras off, you see yourself very much as a partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely. And we want to help set the direction for how those businesses can be more successful. And look, listings is the core of our business, and it will always be kind of the core of our business. But there's a lot more that we can do in a modern day and age. We kind of see ourselves as we think like a digital marketing partner as well. We've got very sophisticated teams within our within Zoopla that have built the Zoopla brand over time. And my push when I arrived to the team was say, how do we give some of our colleagues, some of our partners, and our customers that experience too?
And what responsibility is it for the Zoopla boys and girls, the BDMs or whatever you call them this week, going out to the network?
Yeah, I mean, it's to help educate, right? It's to help educate, reinforce the message, and to make sure that our customer base have access to or know where to go to consume some of this stuff. And we're trying to do as much of that as we possibly can. There's been a really big effort this year to speak to more customers, whether that be one-to-ones, whether that be me going out and meeting more customers, or the property pitches that we've been doing up and down the country to look to give some information. But also, I think the best bits of the property pitches was we got to spend a couple of hours after them with lots and lots of customers, hundreds and hundreds of customers, and hear kind of on the ground what they need to help their business grow.
Thank you for your time today, Rich.
Thank you.